Okay, ladies and gents, we are currently officially live everywhere on the Facebook. The volume is up, videos are on, and now it's time to open up the microphone because we have a lovely gentleman in studio, and we have brought up C here in the Bahamas. Okay, you're gonna introduce yourself right now. Let them know your name, where you're from, and why are you in studio today? To now.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Orion Bethel. I am a F&M supporter. I'm also a photographer and currently a student at the University of Bahamas.
Wow, so you wear a lot of hats and
So,
tons. So tell us more about yourself, man. How did you actually get into all of these creative sides, the industries? You know, you go to UB, right? Yeah, so you're in UB, politics, photography. How does all of that blend in together?
well, when I started my first business in 2018, it would have been photography. And since then, I've been going to the University of Bahamas doing a double major with law and psychology.
Whoa.
And so that's a handful. And over the years, I've done a lot of photo shoots. I photo shoots of people across the table.
Ah, yes, I'm one of those models you photographed before.
Yeah, and so photography is good. It's very creative, and it's a way for you to be able to express visually.
Hmm.
I always have an appreciation for sharp pictures, pictures that are well done. I did a University of Bahamas graduation photo shoot about 2 or 3 days ago.
What? Oh, you still in it?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you keep going and you're in politics and stuff?
Well, I believe that politics is a way for us to improve our country. Like I say, I'm a supporter of the FNM. I serve as a trustee for the Torchbearers Youth Association, which
Oh,
is the
nice.
youth arm of the FNM, and we support the party and help spread the party's message. Right now, we have our leader, Michael Pintard, deputy leader, Shannon Cartwright, and chairman, Dwayne Sands, and I believe that they are ready to take back this government and make the Bahamas a better place.
Okay, so question: are you really a politician, or what would be considered a politician? Who would be considered a politician?
Well, technically, the dictionary definition is that a politician is anybody who engages in party politics, right? And so, me
Mm.
or you or anybody, and you have the constitutional right to engage in politics,
Yeah.
and all of us play a part in the policy making process. For as simple as
True. True.
if we look at the road and we see a pothole, and we report that to our member of parliament, that is a part of the policy making process.
Mm.
Because then our MP can now take that to parliament and say, look here, we need to pave this road here and so forth.
Wow, I didn't really. Well, I know most things when it comes to having a right to speak and vote and what's not. But a lot of persons over here they aren't really aware of their rights. You know what I mean? We're not really digging deep into the law and stuff. Like even as simple as you say in the pothole. A lot of persons probably listening now saying, "What do you mean? We could actually like protest for a pothole?" You know what I mean? Like that's crazy. So tell us more about it, man. Like I like the fact that you are tying all of this information in one for us.
Yeah, one of the things we do is, especially with the torchbearers, we engage with a lot of youth, and we try to bring them in because a lot of youth they're timid. They feel like their voice cannot
Mm,
be heard.
indeed.
But one of the things I like about Michael Pentard, Shannon Cartwright, and Dwayne Sands is that they are inclusive. They listen. When if they go to make a policy,
Hmm.
they hear from the Women's Association, they hear from the Youth Association, which is us, and they allow everybody to pitch in and, like I say, be a part of the policy making
Wow.
process.
I like that. You know what I heard just now all in one? Inclusion. Inclusivity. Like they're bringing all the ideas as one because with the women, most women feel like they're unheard. So the
Hmm.
fact that you mentioned that part, that was big. And the youth, we do feel like, okay, whatever. And I'm happy you mentioned because I need you to help me for next month. It's all about the junior achievers, okay? If we could get some of those juniors on here and let their voices be heard, that'd be great.
I'll make it happen.
Okay. Now let's tie back to the photography. Ladies and gents, if you're looking at me on this slide and you're trying to figure out why someone pink eyelashes and looking like a garland or somebody call me a junglist. I'm actually a fairy right now. And I had a photo shoot today. But let's tie back to your photography. So you just work for the politicians now? Like you take photos of the meetings and stuff?
Well, that's something that can be explored, but traditionally I've done portraits and lifestyle. Like I said, shoot models like yourself, shoot lifestyle, which is, like graduations, maternity
Nice.
pictures, and so forth. And I really, one of the things I like about it is I always like when I go on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and I see somebody, their profile picture is a picture that I took. I'm like, okay, that's me.
Actually, the photos you sent me today, you reminded me like many years ago when we shot our first photography. It was on street photography, I guess.
It was, I think it was like around there by Grey Cliff.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, I love those photos. Actually, that's what kept me going in my life, and that was the best time because I had the afro, the golden afro.
and give it again.
I do have it again. But anyway, we're going to talk more about politics when we come back because I have a few questions I want to ask. Maybe like some questions persons want to ask too, but we feel like are these questions you ask, or like how could we go above and beyond to like help our nation? And I have another question for you. I'm actually foreshadowing because I want people to stay tuned. There's a question I have to ask in regards to Kim Kardashian. She said that she feel like kids need to like stay at home. They don't have to go to school anymore. It's kind of outdated and blah 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 blah. AI and all this coming around. So we're gonna stick a pin right now and talk about it because it's unbelievable. Like, what you mean school outdated? So I want you to actually break down your thoughts on that. Okay. So when we come back, we got that covered. ACE holding it down with the main man. What's your name, sir?
Orion.
Orion. All right. Orion.
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 Yes.
Orion. No, I'm joking. I thought you heard the wordplay. Like, are we on air right now? Are we on
Oh,
air?
okay.
Yeah. Gosh, I gotta teach these people how to be funny, man. I'll be right back. ACD, hold it down. All new Starlight 6.5. The Bahamas' best music variety. I was like, are we on air right now?
That was clever. That was clever.
ACE. all right, ladies and gents, boys and girls, we are back at it like never before. Orion, Orion. I'm just joking. I love your name, man. I love playing with people's names, giving them new names. That means I really vibe with you. If I give you a new name, I vibe with you, okay? No disrespect. But let's, go back to the conversations because you are a politician and you just taught me what it actually means today. I thought you had to be like, running and parliament and all this good stuff, my voice isn't heard, being heard, and I'm angry, and there's no way to go about it. But you're here today to teach us a few things, like how can we be heard, and especially the youth and women. So I like that about you. Now let's get back to our conversation. Before we talk about Kim K, do you have any things you want to point out too?
Well, one of the things you mentioned is that women being heard and youths being
Yeah.
heard. We know that the FNM has historically been an advocate for women's rights.
Mm-hmm.
We know that it was the FNM who fought for women to be able to have maternity leave on jobs. Before a time, if a woman was pregnant, you could let her go, right? But now the
Well,
FNM brought on the Maternity Leave Act. Janet Boswick and those,
yeah.
who is also the FNM, the first female senator and the first female attorney general.
Indeed, yes.
She's the FNM is her home, and so we always have a track record of women being included. And when we talk about the youth, we know that the FNM under the last administration ratified and sworn in the youngest politician member of parliament, not only in Bahamian history but in Caribbean history, Travis
Whoa.
Robinson.
Oh, okay.
And
In Caribbean history.
And Travis Robinson now sits as deputy chairman of the party, which is indicative of the fact that women and children, the FNM will hear you. We will hear you. You'll be a part of the policy making process, and your voice will be heard.
Wow, that is powerful. And speaking of voices being heard, now we need to stand up because it seems like everyone falling madly in love with this AI generation. And when I say AI generation, I'm not talking about the kids. I'm just talking about AI this, AI that. You trying to do your essay for school. Let me not snitch on myself, but you go to ChatGPT and you try ask ChatGPT to do my essay for me, do my resume. And Kim Kardashian is saying we don't have to actually take kids to school anymore. It's okay. How do you feel about that being a politician? I want to hear from you.
Well, Kim Kardashian could afford to say that because she is rich.
Okay, you're right.
Her children born rich.
Right.
So they don't have to, but for the rest of us, we know that education is a way for us to move from one socioeconomic class to the next, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know, as University of Bahamas students, we know that the way to escape minimum wage jobs is to not be call yourself a skilled worker, right?
Yes.
You accomplish some kind of skill, whether it be formal school where you write in books like the University of Bahamas, or it could be a technical skill that you learn at BTVI. But you have to have some kind of skill, some kind of avenue to make yourself more marketable to be able to get these jobs. For example, you have the FNM under the last administration made tuition at BTVI and University Bahamas free for Bahamians who qualify.
Yeah, I was really grateful for that actually.
Right, and so we believe that people can pull themselves up by their own bootstraps, but you got to give people a little bit of something to hold on to. Give them something to hold on to, right? And so education. I mean, my daddy came from South Andrews at the age of 17 with no education. He worked on the police force and went to school at the same time. Became a lawyer, became very successful. That was because of education.
Mm-hmm.
So without education, I mean, you have some outliers, some people who are statistical deviances like Lil Wayne and so forth. But as Barack Obama said, not everybody can aspire to be LeBron James or Lil Wayne.
That's true.
Right? And so education is a good way for us to build ourselves up as young people to say, listen, I have completed my studies. I am now qualified. Now this is what I'm demanding.
Okay, well, since you took it from that point of view, let's take it from this point of view. Let's just say she's saying, we could still keep education around, but why do we have to send the child to school? Like, how do you feel about that? Do you think we should still be attending school, or could it be like hybrid, online, offline? How do you feel?
Well, I feel that if we were disciplined enough, we could do online school.
That's the big D word right there. Yeah, disciplined enough.
Because we know in 2020 when COVID came around, we know what we was doing.
Well, don't speak on me. All right, so okay, you're alive with that because after COVID, you know what I realized? A lot of persons didn't really want to go to school. A lot of persons was like, what's the point of school? I'm like, hold on now. Don't let one COVID situation cause you all feel like just an education right here, or like you can't be in person. I actually like that in person feeling sometimes. Now, if I'm too busy, I don't mind an online class. But like you said, these are kids. They still need to be developed, trained in a certain manner. Yeah, homeschool is good. That's still a school, right? Okay.
And one of the things about going to school is you're not just building the child academically, you're building the child
Mm-hmm.
socially.
That is true. I think COVID actually caused us like want to stay to ourselves now.
And one of the things you learn in the school is that you learn that you have to cooperate with others. You have to take turns. You have to have manners.
Mm-hmm.
You can't one person speak at a time. You have to wait. You have to follow rules of the school. The
Mm.
rules that we hated in school, they really made us better people.
Honestly, you're right. You know, and I don't want to sound like this, but getting beaten sometimes, like discipline, it was kind of cool. Like as I'm older now, I understand. Like I just want to say thank God for my parents and the school system back then for not allowing me to feel like I was such a woman at a certain age. Like, hey, I don't need y'all. Okay, cool. You don't bend this tree. You don't go bend this rod. You know what I mean? But I'm happy it happened. You know what I mean? But let's talk more about education too. Like I know you wanted to mention some things about UB because we both go to UB.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that you're studying.
Double major, law and
That's
psychology.
what I wanted to do, but I was so afraid to do that. I say, no, let me start with psychology first. I'll do yeah. So tell me more about your experience.
Well, my daddy was a lawyer, and I've always been around law enforcement and law. So, law to me, because I took my first law class, I got A. That wasn't, to me, that was, but I just felt like that was something that I had an affinity towards. And so for me, it wasn't too difficult, but I do think that law is something that every Bahamian should have a little bit of knowledge on because,
Mm-hmm.
like we said before, talking about the constitutional rights and so forth, and on psychology, which is the study of human behavior and mental processes, it's very interesting to me. I think it's something that can be useful in the workforce. When we have talk about mental health week,
Yeah.
it was like 2 weeks ago,
Yeah, for this whole month, it's the
or the
green
month.
mental. Yeah, we all call it the green month. I think Cecil Roberts, he's a dancer, the lit guy. He was advocating something for this month as well.
Right, and because some people, what I like about psychology is you might look at someone and say, "Oh, this person just freaking out," but if you look in the
So,
in the textbook, there's a word for that, right? So
what it called?
now I'm saying like every behavior or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
there's a word for it, and so you could say, okay, this person is experiencing bipolar, and the treatment for this is X, Y, and Z. So a psychologist could come in now and say, okay, we know how to deal with this. This person isn't crazy. I like that.
That's true. And I actually wanted to study it because I mean growing up, let me break it down. I felt like I was struggling with something. Some days I'm happy, some days I'm sad, I don't want to talk to people, but I'm still bubbly. Like I just felt like why am I feeling all these different emotions? Maybe it's something, maybe it's me, maybe it's just TV. So we always tried to find the answers, but we had to diagnose ourselves back then, you know what I mean?
Right.
Especially in the Bahamas. So people like you and myself, like trying to break that cycle is so important for the youth, especially.
Yes. Yes.
But anyway, ladies and gents, we're gonna take a short break right here. Gonna play a good song, and when we come back, we're gonna find out how we're gonna, hear more from Mr. Arion, how you can find him on the social medias and what's not. Other than that, may interview series ACE holding it down with the main man.
Orion. Orion.
Say Arion.
This is Afternoon Tea with ACE on Star 106.5.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Ladies and gents, we are back at it like never before. We are back at it. And I just want to close up the show and let Mr. Orion, I'm going to let Mr. Bethel do his outro right now. Let you know you can find him on all social media platforms. And if you want to debate him, or if you want to just, know more about your rights and more about the party, you can hit him up on this number and his social media. Go.
Hi, everybody. You can find me on Facebook at Orion Bethel. You can also find me on Instagram at Orion Bethel and on Twitter at Orion Bethel. My photography page is on Facebook at Crown Prince Media and the same thing on Instagram.
Okay, now, we been talking about education all day. How you know I can spell? Huh? How you know I can spell? Can you please spell your name, so?
Orion Bethel with 2 L's.
See that? Because when I first spelled your name, I put 1 L and I said, hold on, this man name has 2 L's. I need to go back to school. But for real, thank you so much for being on the show. I know it was a short time, but you said so much in that short time. Like, whoa, we're going to talk off there, okay? Because I don't want to prolong it, but I'm going to do a special series just for like persons who want to have those deeper conversations and just inform others on air, because you'll be surprised how much persons didn't really know about the things you mentioned just now. And it goes back to education and being, I feel like we're watering it down, we got to keep that alive. And thank you so much. So any closing words you want to say? Oh, better yet, I was supposed to ask you for some motivation. Before you go, I have all of my guests. They have to say something inspirational. You have to inspire someone right now. That little boy, that little girl that's listening to you, that grown man, that grown woman that's saying, hey, I feel like, man, it's a struggle, but how can I keep going? We're listening to you, Orion. So, go ahead.
There's a quote by John F. Kennedy, former president of the United States. Do not pray for easy lives. Pray to be stronger men.
Oh, well, okay, Mr. Politician. You need to repeat that one more time, because I ain't homeboy in the back. Mister, you hear that? He ain't hear it. Say that again, please.
A quote from John F. Kennedy. Do not pray for easy lives. Pray to be stronger men. And also, I want to mention F&M Fairs coming up on this Saturday, May 31st at Aaron Bailey Park. It could be from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. Raffle tickets are $5 or $50 for the buck of 10. And the grand prize is $10,000.
Yeah, hold on. But, I just want to add one more time. Sorry, HR. Sorry, boss. You say $5 and I get $10,000?
You have a chance.
I hear that. I missed that boss, but I hear that.
Yes.
Say it again, $5.
$5 for the raffle tickets, and the grand prize for the raffle is $10,000. So come out, support, spend money.
Woo-wee. May 31st, we know where I could be, where you could be. I know where I could be, ladies and gents. Aaron Bailey Park. Other news, in other news, we gotta go and keep the vibe alive. Star 106.5, the Bahamas' best variety. You're tuning in right now to your girl ACE and the main man,
Orion.
So you forget your name, Mr. Battle.
Afternoon Tea with ACE
That was good.
on Star 106.5.